When you work in the same organization for many years, you become familiar with the comings and goings of this particular organization. Your desk smells of you, and you personalize it with photos of your cat, your dog, your spouse, depending on who looks good. The office seat even has the shape of you. You are familiar with what works and what does not work in this organization. And you can almost drive to the office in autopilot and walk around with your eyes closed. You know where all your colleagues sit, and so when you come in, you can say good morning without looking at them. You say good morning, good morning. Everyone is where they should be. I had worked in this organization for more than 10 years, and I knew all about it. I was familiar with every corner. Like being in an old marriage, I knew which feathers to ruffle and which feathers to polish. Quite comfortable and knowing my place in it. Very comfortable, familiar, and conversant is how a company merger found me. And company mergers come like a rumor from a distance, like an affair affecting an old marriage. Disrupting the way of life, the company culture is disrupted. New responsibility, new bosses, new strategies. And you begin to wonder, what is my place in this place? And occasionally you have an argument with yourself and you wonder, surely they wouldn't let me go. I've been here. I am that important. Arguments that do not hold water at the end of the day. In 2018, in the post-merger integration, I lost my job at that organization that had worked for such a long time. As I sat in the car park on the day I received the message, I had mixed feelings, leaving home and not sure of what the future holds. This was a season with so many unfamiliar moments, wondering what to do with my time, and a lot of many other questions. The first sense of being unfamiliar happened with my identity. I was experiencing an identity vacuum. We live in a society that leans heavily on the question, what do you do for a living? To start a conversation. And whenever this question was thrown at me, I had a different answer for every day, mumbling different things. Luckily for me, on a Sunday morning, most people do not ask you what you do for a living. And I struggled. You see, the company had always told me who I am. All my adult life working in corporate meant that somebody always told me who I was. You are this assistant. You are that executive. The corporate world had told me who I was. But now, the corporate world had thrown me out. Who was I? The second thing I struggled with was belonging, a sense of belonging to some group, a certain sense of ownership. When you leave corporate employment, you do not just leave the organization, but you leave a place that you report daily. 8 hours that are accounted for, you have to be seated at your desk or engaged in company business. But here I was, without a people, without a language. No more speaking of key performance indicators, blue ocean, we're going to new markets. You lose a language, you lose friendships, or friendships you thought you had. But I call them proximity buddies. People you see every morning, people you see every day, people you see month after month, because they work in the same space as you do. But now you can't take them with you because you have moved from the industry and you have moved from the language. 3 years later, I am here and I have found my new title, I have found my new identity, and I have owned it and made it mine. But it was a process. I began this process of finding my identity first by reconnecting with old friends. Isn't it amazing how old friends have a lot of data on you? Old friends are like a mirror in your house. The mirror in your house has seen you go through different stages of change, yet the mirror is faithful, and the mirror does not judge. The mirror in your house. Those are your old friends. I am privileged to have several friends that have been long-standing in my life. And a lot of times when I doubted myself, they said, but you have always been like this. This is what we have always seen over the years, and this is a person that you always were. This helped affirm and validate the desires and the stirrings that I was finding inside my life, helping me realize that I had not changed because I was titleless, but I am still the person that I am. The second thing I did about my identity vacuum was to take a pen and paper. And this was not about my CV. It was about finding out who was Njeri. What are the jobs I had worked at? What skills had I gained there? I sat down and wondered, what are my passions? What are my greatest accomplishments? What value had I added in all the areas that I had been in my life? A harvesting of the things that make up me. And this helped, because a lot of times what we are is inside us, and we only present the little that speaks of the job we currently do. So you wonder, are you just a marketer because they made you're in marketing? You wonder, because they have made me an assistant, am I just an assistant? But sitting down with a pen and paper helped me harvest all that there is about me. What are my passions? Why does my heart beat? And this brought a lot on the table that I could use in making up my identity. The other thing I struggled with was being tribeless, not finding a people I belonged to. And for this, I looked for groups that were engaged in things that interested me. One of those groups was Toastmasters International, a public speaking club. I had earlier joined this club with an aim of seeking to articulate my public speaking skills. But then in this group, I found a people that spoke in the same language. And it helped hold me before I found out who I was so that I could find out who to associate with. The corporate world just puts you in a tribe and puts you in, the schools determine the tribes that you own. The corporates determine the tribe. But what about when the organization throws you out, or when you leave that organization? To which group do you belong? I found that grouping in Toastmasters and found like-minded individuals that had self-development agendas for themselves. Inside that large tribe of Toastmasters, I also found the sub-tribes of people that I could identify with, the self-employed, the entrepreneurs, the people in different areas of transition. Today, I have found my voice. I am a brand storyteller and a personal branding coach. I have found my title, and I have owned it. I have realized that finding your identity when you leave employment is a process. Do not hurry it up. And once you find it, you find it. I speak to you who is sitting with your title in the office and you're wondering, this title they have given me, is this all there is? I am here to tell you that there is a richness. There is a richness within you. There is more of you than just your title. Begin right now, while you're still in that organization, to find out all the things that make up you. And once you find yourself, find the tribe that you can identify with before you have to leave the tribe that you currently are in. If you need to step out because the organization is changing, step out fearlessly or in spite of it. Find your voice, because the world is waiting to hear that voice. Find your voice. Do you know the sound of your voice?